morning, everyone. I'm WSAZ's Kimberly Keggy. Thanks for joining us here for WSAZ Plus. We're going to go ahead and get a check on that forecast because for a lot of us, maybe you're a little lopsided after this week. Let's go ahead and bring in Dylan Godet because he has been tracking the weather. Dylan, I was just saying, Chelsea and I were talking up here a little bit, and we said we're a little lopsided after this week. Saturday was so beautiful. And then we get today when we're raking up a snowfall yet again.
Yeah, it is wild that we've gone from tornado warnings for part of the area just as early as last Friday morning to now snow and winter storm warnings. And then by Saturday, we're going to be right back into the 60s this coming Saturday. So yeah, a true roller coaster weather pattern to say the very least. But parts of the area really dealing with some heavy snow. Yeah. We've had parts of Nicholas County over a foot of snow reported. Craigsville at 14 inches and 15 inches just south of Webster County, Camden-on-Gauley in the far northern Nicholas County.
Gosh, that's so surprising because when you look at just different parts of the region, some only saw a dusting. And I was kind of surprised by the amount of school closings that we had today. I thought more schools would kind of lean towards that 2-hour delay than what we saw with the amount of school closings that we got.
Yeah, part of the problem though today is that temperatures at least through around lunchtime are going to stay below freezing. So any of the snow that still additionally falls on those less traveled roads, you're still going to be dealing, even if it's a coating, a little bit of snow sticking in those locations. So I think that really factored in to a lot of the school closings that we did see.
Yeah, Dylan, well, can you help us plan the day, the rest of it, and even give us something to look forward to at the end of the week for us?
Yes, there is some light at the end of the tunnel with this go around of the snow. We're not going to be dealing with just days on end of that Arctic cold like we did just experience. But looking at what you can expect here for the week ahead, it is snowy to start the week, though, for today. We're going to continue to see snow showers off and on through the remainder of the day, with heavier snow continuing as you head towards the mountains east of Charleston. Again, Nicholas County, Fayette County, a couple of those locations. Heavier rain on the way Thursday. That's something we do need to monitor. And then mild temperatures returning by the weekend. Couple different locations that we're tracking in terms of winter alerts. Winter weather advisory through 11 a.m., so through the end of the hour into Scioto, Pike County in Ohio, northeastern Kentucky for Lewis County. That is again through 11 o'clock. But a winter weather advisory through 7 o'clock this evening for Pike, Floyd, Martin counties into Kentucky, and then also for Lincoln, Putnam, Jackson, and Wirt counties in West Virginia. Those counties in West Virginia were under a winter storm warning, but were then changed to a winter weather advisory for this morning. We're going to see a general 1 to 3 inches of snow by the time this system is all said and done into those locations. And then Charleston eastward, also the southern West Virginia coalfields, that's where we do have the winter storm warning. Doppler radar is still showing snow, persistent snow in a lot of these locations. Pikeville, this is going to be one of Pikeville's bigger events of the entire season. We could definitely see a couple inches of snow there. Same up towards Prestonsburg. Southern West Virginia, south of I-64, still seeing bands of snow there. And then the heaviest snow today has been this area across central West Virginia. Persistent bands of snow stretching from Spencer through Clay and into Nicholas and Fayette counties. There are going to be multiple sighting reports out of Fayette and Nicholas County where we're going to be at and above a foot worth of snow. So definitely impressive amounts, all thanks to that northwest flow from the Great Lakes. There's an ongoing blizzard, a huge nor'easter. This pressure is at 966 millibars, and that may not mean anything to you, but that's the pressure, at least, of a category, would be the equivalent of a Category 2 hurricane. Now, the winds are more spread out in a system like this. It's not exactly a snow hurricane like some are suggesting, but it just shows how powerful the system in the nor'easter is. And on these systems, you get a lot of strong winds that flow right over top of the Great Lakes, and a lot of Lake Erie was ice covered, but that's kind of broken up of late because of the warmer temperatures. So that's providing some moisture. Also Lake Huron, and as you head towards Lake Michigan, all providing some moisture to West Virginia to aid in the snow. And I mentioned the temperatures earlier. We're still below freezing, well into the 20s even. Logan down to 20, 25 in Charleston, 20 in Summersville. So the snow that's falling is easily able to stick. And we'll continue to see those snow showers and squalls continuing. If you're in Huntington and areas west of Charleston, you're not really going to see this accumulate much, but it's going to reduce visibility really while traveling, and that's a bigger concern for you there than the snow sticking. we're going to continue to see the snow showers through the early evening, but by late evening and into tomorrow morning, you want to look out for some refreeze taking place because temperatures will be back into the low to mid 20s, if not the teens, where we have a lot of the snow on the ground. So that'll be something to keep in mind for tomorrow morning's commute. I think we'll see school delays because of that. And then for the afternoon, we will be tracking temperatures that will eventually be into the upper 30s and low 40s, so that'll lead to some melting. So how much additional snow? Again, a coating for most of the lowlands, but east of Charleston, you're going to step up from 1 to 2 inches of additional snow, and then maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of more snow to come. And those wind chills are going to be cold as well, mid-20s for your afternoon. And tomorrow morning, look at Richwood, for example, where we're going to have a lot of snow on the ground and the wind on top of it. It's going to be feeling quite chilly. And I just want to quickly show you what's to come for Thursday. Not really heavy downpours on the way, but we will be seeing a steady rain, and with all the snow melt in the mountains, with creeks and streams and rivers already running high, that's where we're going to deal with some localized flooding issues in those flood-prone areas. If you're in an area that typically sees water rise on lower end events, you could see that on Thursday. So that's what we'll have our eye on later in the week. But you mentioned some good news, Kimberly. Yes, Saturday's looking fantastic if you have plans. I know softball and baseball teams are already practicing. Those spring sports are already practicing. They haven't been able to get out a lot.
Yeah.
I think Saturday may be a day that those teams could get out and try to get some outdoor practice in instead of stuck in the gymnasium.
I bet you they'll be doing some outdoor conditioning for
Yes.
certain.
Definitely. As temperatures will be a lot nicer this weekend. We haven't really had a super nice full weekend, and I think at least Saturday is looking very, very nice.
You know, Dylan, from your expertise here, and let's see, you know what, I pulled up the wrong. There we go. Sorry, I couldn't get you in the right box. From your expertise, you mentioned obviously we could still see some issues kind of linger into tomorrow. And for those who really saw it up in Nicholas County, like Richwood area, what would you recommend for that snow? Do they got to clear it today? Is it a case where it'll just linger for several days and really create some tricky spots up there for them?
I think we will see improvement there tomorrow afternoon. They're not going to get as cold as what we're going to get even in Charleston and Huntington. Okay. Nicholas County, Summersville, Fayette County as well. US 19 corridor there. Those areas aren't going to see a ton of melting tomorrow, a little bit, but the main roads should at least clear out. It's not really going to be until Wednesday and then with the rain on Thursday that we're going to see those areas melting. So the road crews will be able to make improvement, especially on the main roads. Even this afternoon, temperatures are going to be right around freezing, and that's going to be enough to where salt can work and things like that. But right now, those areas, the plows are out. It's less in terms of the salt. I mean, they have to clear out that heavy snow that is on the roadways there. So that's going to be challenging, of course. But the little bit of melting that we'll see today could refreeze tomorrow morning. So I do expect those areas to still see a lot of tough conditions on the roadways. The afternoon commute today, especially before the sun goes down, it's going to be a lot better than what the morning commute was, just because those temperatures will be a little bit closer to the freezing mark.
That is certainly a treat for so many people who have to deal with that.
Yes.
And I'm not going to hold you to this, but I do have to ask you, do you think this is maybe the last snowy experience that we'll see this winter, or are we thinking, we can't let our guard down yet? I know March is still far away in the sense of things can change, but you know, from your expertise, what are you thinking?
Into maybe next week, they're still looking like we could see some cooler shots. But in terms of a system of this magnitude, you know, it's getting rarer and rarer that we do see systems like this as you get into March. So won't completely rule some wintry weather out, but I don't think we'll see anything like this, especially, you know, I know this is national weather talk, but New York City, I mean, we're going to be 2 feet. That's what we're talking about there. So this is a historic, this is going to be a blizzard that people talk about for a long time. The blizzard of February 2026 is one that's going to be remembered for a large portion of the country. And we had small amounts of snow here, but still, I mean, over a foot in Nicholas County, that's really the first time we've seen that so far this season. So it's going to be one of our bigger events, at least for the mountains of our area, that we've seen so far this season.
I think this year in particular, we've really gotten good at dealing with winter weather. Sometimes there are seasons and years where we go and we say, oh, we just get a dusting here and a dusting there. But this year in particular, we've had pretty significant snowfall in different parts of the region. And I think a lot of us those who are snow lovers have certainly enjoyed it this year.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, the salt supply of many homes trying to just salt your, let alone the roads, but you're just trying to salt your driveway and sidewalk, and that's been a challenge. But yeah, it started all the way early December. We had that early December snow. We've just had multiple events. Of course, the big one that led to 2 weeks of snow and ice on the ground that did come in January. But it's been kind of hit or miss the last couple of weeks. We obviously were very warm last week, but right back to wintry conditions today.
Yes, well, Dylan, we certainly appreciate you joining us here this morning to give us an update and how we can plan our week, and even that good piece of advice and something to look forward to at the end, that weekend temperatures. And it's nice to see that they're really hitting when it matters, when most people have off, that we can enjoy them. So we certainly appreciate you joining us here, and we'll know you'll keep us updated.
Thank you very much, Kimberly.
All right. Well, you heard Dylan there mention a little bit about, we're just trying to get that check in for the forecast. And before I let us go this morning, let's go ahead and take a look at our lottery cameras, as they are certainly beautiful. I want to pull this one up because it is so pretty to look at. And I think, as we have some certain areas that are dealing with it, check out this snow just out of Logan. I mean, how beautiful is that? The mountains just slightly dusted, and you can even see those snow flurries there. So we are not out of winter yet. We have to hold on just a little bit longer. But you heard Dylan mention certainly some things to look forward to, and I think we can all take that as some good piece of advice for the end of the week. It's only Monday, right? We got 5 work days to get through, but at the end of it, that next weekend is certainly going to look beautiful in those 60s on Saturday, and even just warmer temperatures on Sundays when they're in the 50s. So thanks for joining us here for WSAZ Plus. We certainly hope you have a great start to your week and a great Monday.